Okay, so it is September 16th, 2020 in the evening here on the West Coast. It's almost 10 o'clock. It's about a quarter to 10. And I'm going to do the reading now on Miguel Yazzie. He was one of the soldiers out of Fort Hood that recently passed. Now, there were two Navajo soldiers, he and Carlton Chi, but Yazzie's death, I believe, happened prior to Chi's death, from what I understood. The issue that with Yazzie's death is that his family wasn't aware of his health issues going on until he called them, and it seems that he indicated to them that he was having trouble getting the help he needed, which I think may have been medical help. We'll see. We'll just gotta see what the cards are going to show. And I'm just wanting to cover his case too, as I said I would. So I just want to check into Miguel Yazzie's death and ensure that there was nothing untoward with that death. I will let the ancestors and the Creator guide my reading and help me to analyze these symbols of the tarot, these keys of a storyline that come up and tell you about things, and you wonder what, I can't tell you how it's done. I can only tell you that it happens, and that's why I read the cards. It's fascinating to me. So let's see. I'm going to zone in, if you will, and kind of extend a invitation over and ask if Mr. Yazzie's ancestors will assist me and mine and his spirit. I hope he's at peace and at rest, and I hope that he gets justice. And also there at Fort Hood, who have been bereft of truth or justice regarding their case or whatever they needed while they were before their deaths that happened. There's been way too many crazy things going on there. Okay, so we want to zone in on Miguel Yazzie and his death. Okay, let's see what we got. Get the Devil. And the Nine of Swords. It shows that he had a great deal of worry about some matter of corruption. And something was bothering him. I do get that, there's a lack of sleep, there's a sense of worry, especially with the Nine of Swords. And I'm feeling like with the way the knives are, it's something about not talking. So it puts him in a position under a great deal of mental strain, but where he doesn't feel like he can talk. There's something, I think there's some sort of, I think there's an understanding that there's some corruption going on that could make your life hell. And that may have been what was going on here. Because the Devil is about, but we'll see here. It can be about a lot of negative things. Behaviorisms, lifestyles, all this kind of stuff. We got to see. Again, we're dealing with what looks to me like pushing, shoving, some kind of bullying type of energy going on there. I got that with Chi as well. Knight of Swords, this is somebody that just goes right straight out into it. Is a very swift, sudden action. And he's struggling. I think that some of these men, and I can't say, I can say that I really felt it with Chi's reading. I'm not certain yet about Yazzie's, but I feel like there's intrinsic systemic racism going on over there. And I think that's what links a lot of these cases. Basically, it's a mentality that many people who are there also at Fort Hood, and especially the outgoing, what's his name, Effluent. He's been relieved kind of overseeing things, and there's a new fella coming in to oversee things, but now they're kind of stepped back from that, so I'm not quite sure what the Army's doing, but they're kind of moving this guy around, and he doesn't have a very good reputation, this Effluent. I guess it's how you say his name. It's, I think, Efflandt. He's like a general or whatever. You know, this could even be somebody taking things out, making things hard for him, for Miguel. And I think he was worried about his health. I do. But I think it to the point that he didn't really want to talk about it. Some people I know can be that way. If they start to get sick, they don't. Like, I'm very open. I will talk pretty much about a lot of it. If I think it's going to do the world some good, a greater good for me to go into it. But there are other people that just, they don't say anything, and their families don't even know they're sick, or that kind of stuff. And there is an issue here to me where he's so worried that it almost feels like he doesn't, maybe his thing is that when he worries, maybe he withdraws and doesn't end up saying anything. He withdraws up into himself. I think he knew about some maybe issues of racism and harassment going on, but I think he tried to keep it to himself. I think he may have tried not to get involved. I don't know if the Ten of Wands. Okay. Okay, that's falling under the devil. So this is the people abusing power, making lives difficult for other people. It is straight up an abuse of power and taking predation upon someone's vulnerability. Hanged Man. There's a delay. It shows, I think, also the delay in him being able to get some sort, I think, of treatment, and that he was holding out and holding on. Queen of Rings, the Star. I think, again, we've got a mother here or another female figure, family figure, maybe tribal, that's going to bring attention to this case, or that is associated with, I think, helping him, bringing a spotlight, or she is looking into this. This is something that comes up on her horizon, on her skyline, that she's very much involved in this. And I think what needs to come out is the racism that's going on there. There's something with racism. Little groups of jerks intimidating people. Ace of Swords. Yeah, this is about a very decisive energy that is, oh God, the Devil, 10 of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. 3 of Swords. There is pain. There is a sense of heartbreak or grief. I think also maybe with the heart, he may have needed some kind of surgery, I wonder, for his heart and valves or something along these lines. I just don't think he was able to get through to get help, and it looks like there's a kind of an abusive atmosphere that he was enduring while not being well. There's doing something over and over again. Okay, yeah. The 8 of Rings. This is training, exercise. King of Swords. I keep going back to that number 3. And the 3 of Swords. With the Ace. Feeling like this is somebody that he's done training with here. This King of Swords. There is a falling out, or there's bitter, there's a something that needs to be clear here. I'm getting this, I got a flash of this as surgery, but I'm also getting this feeling here about this male here as being someone involved in his training. This male comes into view, and there's something very painful associated with this male. Yeah, I wanted to make sure that this fellow wasn't getting assaulted. I'm not seeing that so much, but I feel like he knows stuff and he doesn't want to make waves. This could go back to the guy that was heading things, or somebody that was over him, whoever was training him. Maybe some sort of a report of his illness. That makes, okay, yes, a lot more clarity to me. This guy, and the guy that's responsible, I think this could be that effluent. Um, but it may not. It might be somebody else yet again, whoever was overseeing him. Forgive me, I don't know the hierarchy structure of who would have been his overseeing officer or whatever. I just feel like there's a problem here with getting something through, some kind of care or message that's clear about a problem with his health. I do see that with the 3. And when I look more into it, I feel like maybe there's heart issues with him or going on. And I just don't feel like, I feel like due to some kind of corruption going on, I think it interfered with him get in a timely manner, especially that hanged man, in a timely manner. There's some stress. It's just building, pressing, building up. I think the illness, not being well, wearing him down. And this could be, his mother or a woman bringing this to light. And his mother has. I think she's somebody, or a cousin. Somebody's been, different family members have spoken out. But I see a woman here. And I don't know if she's going to be somebody like a doctor that's going to be examining him. I'm not quite clear who she is. But there is this thing with training, bringing, something to light. This could even be, I wonder, like Vanessa's case, bringing more scrutiny onto Fort Hood, these deaths, all these deaths and suicides. He's saying there's a great amount of stress in that environment. And part of the problem with the environment is corruption, I'm being shown, and that causes a lot of people maybe not to ask for what they need or be able to get what they need, or to perhaps make a complaint about sexual harassment or harassment that's racial, whatever the case may be. I feel like there's an intrinsic, systemic problem going on at Fort Hood, and with a lot of the people, especially the guy that was just shifted, effluent, from overseeing. They've got another guy, Murray, that they've brought in, but he's there more for Vanessa's case and to look at some of the other issues there. Yet it's almost like there's supposed to be different investigations now going on independently. I don't know whether or not Mr. Yazzie will get also or got an independent autopsy. But I'm pretty sure Mr. Chi did. I think there's a feeling of there's a certain feeling of loneliness here. I think a woman connected to Yazzie. And I'm sure his mother or sisters, family, must, felt heartbroken. And in particular, there might be one that has felt, he's like a feeling of maybe being farther away or out of the area. Not quite sure. And this could also be that asking for independent investigation to continue. This could be the hiring of somebody to, maybe even possibly a female, to look deeper with that hermit, like a private investigator or that kind of thing. But on a grander scale, I mean, this is going under federal eyes potentially. And I know that the president of the Navajo Nation, Mr. Nez, President Nez, wants inquiry and is demanding it for these two servicemen. And I think rightly so, because I think the one thing that I could say in common that I think with the cards that I'm seeing going on is an awareness around them in their environment that is not conducive to being safe and staying well. And it's, I think, racism. I think that there's some people there that get away with overt acts of racism and sexual harassment, both, and there's a lot of people that don't come forward because it's, for one thing, embarrassing. And a lot of times then once you do, you're made fun of, or it makes things worse. So a lot of people, men and women, don't end up coming forward if there is a complaint, if they know that they've got a structure above them that isn't going to really help them. And that's the feeling I'm getting here. Delay. And an environment that makes you worry. There's a lot of corruption. Trying to be vigilant, but you're kind of up against this unceasing challenge all the time by this environment, is what I get. By, living in a racist environment, and it wears at you. And I feel like it's possible that Mr. Yazzie's death had delay to it. It could have been a tactic by a corrupt, inept system that didn't place his request for health care or specific, perhaps, treatment, etc., didn't take it seriously, and really left him to worry a lot. I feel like unfortunately on the inside, I think he was really worried how that was going, that it was just taking so long, and it was just making him feel more and more stressed. And I think to the point that of sickness, of getting, there was a delay, and I don't understand why there was a delay. With this, the Devil card and the Nine of Swords, the Knight of Swords, Five of Wands, it just shows frustration and a sense of futility and enduring something very uncomfortable and painful while waiting. I think there was just too long of a wait, and there was just too much damage may have been done health-wise, and specifically around about maybe the heart and valves, something connected to the heart or circulation. And with that circulation, that would make sense because, oh yes, he had a problem with a bowel issue where there was disease, and he needed treatment. Now, I don't understand all the fine details yet, but one of the ways that you can get, apparently, this condition, they don't really know what causes this kind of irritation to the bowel to the point that it's like colitis. It's a form of colitis, but where it's really advanced and there's been damage done to the internal wall, if you will, of the intestine. So I would imagine probably sepsis, things like that, could be involved, potentially. I just feel like he didn't get care soon enough. He didn't get medical expedition. I feel like his health, he was sick, and his health needs were not honored. And I feel like he didn't feel comfortable in that environment when he tried to ask for what he needed. And I hope he is at peace and at rest. So I just am going to throw this out there very quickly and ask that if there's anything that Miguel Yazzie would like to convey through the cards, through the ancestors, the Creator, and Tarot, that I be able to convey it accurately. The Hermit. And the Three of Rings. I'm getting that he felt like he didn't fit in. Like he was kind of on his own. I got that card earlier and I felt it, but I didn't say. Mr. Yazzie, I think he felt really like he didn't feel supported. That is it. Didn't feel supported. This Three of Pentacles talks about more than one person, three people, or three different branches. Usually the number 3 is significant, but not always. It might just be more the conveyance of more than one other individual. So I'm getting a feeling of standing out against others that had their little cliques. And feeling kind of the odd person out, not fitting in. Boy, do I know what that's like. Only my whole life. So he's talking about I think he's saying he didn't feel, I'm going to put this way, that he didn't feel like he fit in there. It really didn't feel like he fit. He felt very much without support. Even more so there, despite the fact that all these people they're supposed to be your, brothers and sisters in the service, there's still not a feeling that he was accepted. The Hierophant, this is about rules, the oversight, Page of Cups. Not being the people that run it don't take it seriously enough. They don't run it with a mature hand. And they also don't, I'm feeling, keep a watch or an awareness about the behavior, some of the immaturity that's going on there, and especially around drink, harassment, and rape at that base. I think that there's certain groups of entitled a-holes that might go around bothering people that are different from them when they have a few drinks. And it doesn't make, I don't think it makes for a safe environment. If anything, there's something, that environment is not safe. Seven of Swords. The Chariot. King of Rings. Ace of Cups. The light's a little low, so it's hard for me to see Hierophant. And Ace of Cups. Well, this is something, about rules, regulation, that for the well-being of people, that makes people feel better. So I think he's referring to like their medical care that he was getting, or trying to get. And again, I get this, this time I get a King of Pentacles. With that Ace of Cups down there. And what's above him? Oh. The Page. Okay. Well, I feel like the systemic problems he's pleased will be brought up with that Chariot, taking it on. And there's, I think that this, I wonder if he's referring to Murray looking into things. There's a great deal of satisfaction with some man that is going to be, I think, looking at a lot of the corruption and the things that have been going on. That would be Mr. Murray there. That's, I say Mr., I think he's a general. Again, I'm not educated on the correct terms and stuff for their hierarchy. But I feel like he's definitely indicating that there needs to be reform. I think he's glad that there's a new guy coming in to go into these things. It's going to cause, I think, him to feel and to be able. It's a lot of emotion. Not only Murray, I think, but the people that are helping him work these cases. There's a great deal of emotion, a great deal of feeling. They're going to feel some kind of way about it. That's what he's saying. Again, the King of Cups. I'm thinking this is President of the Navajo Nation, Nez. And I think this is him looking into who Yazzie was and his situation, trying to figure it out, because I think the records have been handled in a funny way. There's just something that absolutely is not right. And I think everybody's spidey senses are tingling, with regard. It's just not right. I just feel like, yeah, okay. King of Cups, the Emperor. This is definitely like the president. He keeps coming up at a King of Cups. I have to check and make sure, see if President Nez is a water sign, but regardless, this King of Cups keeps coming up regarding in both Chi and Miguel's or Yazzie's readings. So I'm taking it to be the president of the Navajo Nation. Ooh, Tower. And death. He brings a change. He brings a change. There's something that will topple the facade there with these deaths. There's some big deal going on behind the scenes. I think stay tuned. I think for this King of Cups, that really like blows my lid off. This energy does. This guy's, I don't know, there's something explosive. Again, I feel like perhaps the president of the Navajo Nation may end up having to do or say or respond to with these deaths. It's just shocking. It might be that he's able to reveal something about these deaths with this tower that is going to help it to rebuild the way it should be, because it's ineffective and people are dying because of criminal behavior, a lot of it situated in systemic racism and sexism, bias and bigotry. Yeah, there's going to be a new start. Okay, you get death, and there's an end of the old way, because you show it for what it is, and it's corrupt, and the start of a new journey with it, and building it up, but also having help. There's more people involved. It's not just such an isolated power, because an isolated point of power can become corrupt very easily, and that's what I think what was happening with the man that was overseeing the Effland. I think he effed them up. I don't think it's all on him, but I think he's grossly mismanaged something there, and I don't know that I want to read his energy. After reading on Trump and all that stuff, let me tell you guys, it takes it out of you. You feel it, and I'm trying to heal. Yeah, look, 9 of Wands. People are having to be on the defense in that environment, and the 10 of Swords. And there's painful endings. There's been deaths that have been brutal, over the top, that have been going on there. And that's true. And I think there's going to be some other stuff that gets uncovered that we'll find out about. And I think that's what Mr. Yazzie here is relating. And in particularly, I think the president, excuse me, I got a dry spot, of the Navajo Nation, I think is going to uncover something, just something, there's some big thing. I think it could be him, the King of Cups. I think someone that represents these men, their tribe. They're the president of the Navajo Nation. It will be interesting to see what happens. So I hope that Mr. Yazzie is at peace, and I thank him for sharing this information, and I pray for his family and his community, and for Fort Hood to be sorted out, because that's awful. We don't want this happening. Alright, so if you liked or appreciated this content, please give a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you can give a thumbs down, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much.